What is going on, mates of YouTube? Matty Demise here, and in today's video we are back with the Q6600 retro gaming and emulation system, and this time I figured we'll actually try some emulation. You can see in front of me we have Mortal Kombat 3 and we are hitting a consistent 60 FPS. This system with a GT 610 is definitely getting on in years now, but as far as playing older games and emulating, this is a pretty solid system. So if you want to see more like this and the sort of process that I took to get here, let's get on with the video. Okay then, so here's the system that has the Core 2 Quad and the HD 4670. I've been waiting for this bag of SSDs to arrive in the mail all week, well, all last week. I managed to find 3 SSDs, ADATA SSDs in excellent condition for $30 Australian. And while I've sort of been preparing to do this video, I also managed to find my old Zotac GT 610. Now this is in such good condition. Here we go. GT 610, 1GB DDR3. What an exceptional card we've got here. But it is definitely faster than the HD 4670.
A few moments later.
So the GT 610 is performing significantly worse than the HD 4670. And the reason for that is, look at the result on user benchmark. I know user benchmark isn't the be all and end all of performance metrics, but on average 107% faster. And that is with user benchmarks NVIDIA skewed to their information. So looks like the HD 4670 is going back in the system. These are going to be perfect to put in here. Put Windows 11 on it. It's going to go really well. It's amazing what you will find stored in the most random of places, especially when it comes to older PC hardware. I showed you in the last video, I've got a whole drawer full of DDR2 and DDR3 RAM. But these more desirable kits from brands that people actually recognize always sort of command a good resale value if you're, if you plan on reselling it. Also found this E7400. This may be the very E7400 I had in my original computer back when I was a kid. These dual-core CPUs are holding on for dear life in 2024. Probably wouldn't recommend them. I mean, these Core 2 Quads that we've got in here, they're probably the bare minimum in 2024. But you never know, if you've got a fast enough SSD, you can sort of get away with the Core 2 Quad or just 2 cores, 2 very old cores in 2024. Windows 11 installed no problem, and it was definitely a quicker installation than we experienced with the SSHD. Let's install the graphic drivers and see where they take us. Now just remember, if you're going to install Windows 11 and you're on the socket 775, don't forget that it is very, very difficult to install the latest 24H2 release on these systems. You're going to have a much easier experience with the 23H2 release of Windows 11. And as you can see right here, that massive zoom though, here is the display drivers being installed for the GT 610. Kind of really like this old aesthetic for the GPU, silver, black, and orange. You don't really get GPUs that look anything like this anymore. It's definitely a throwback to a better era, a more, let's say, experimental era of PC hardware and design. Now that is what I'm talking about. It's installed. We're at 1080p resolution. Probably not ideal for the little GT610, but it shows up in the task manager, which is huge. That's actually such a great sign. I honestly thought I'd installed it in one of those tubs because it was broken, but very clearly not broken. Just want to say, for just overall browsing, the Q6600 paired with an SSD and 8GB of RAM, actually pretty solid. Like, you could get away with using this as a computer. Like, if this is all you had, you could absolutely browse the internet with this. First up, we have World of Warcraft Classic. This is my favorite game to test using lower end hardware. We're at 1080p downscaled to 720p using the lowest settings, which means 1 out of 10 on the graphics slider, and no anti-aliasing. Aside from a few instances, we're unable to break that 30 FPS barrier. We're not hitting a 30 FPS average, we're hitting about a 25 FPS average. Look, this is playable, but on a variety of different graphics settings and resolutions, we are struggling to hit that 30 FPS average with the 610. I had to check this real quick, and it turns out the 4670 is 4% quicker than the GT710. I suppose the 4670 was kind of an actual graphics card, like a gaming GPU, versus the GT710, which was intended as a display adapter. But still, I'm a little surprised here. I always thought the 610 was going to be quicker than the 4670, and now we just find out that the GT710 isn't even quicker than the 4670. I mean, obviously you could overclock one or the other to get better performance, but still, that's crazy. As alluded to in the intro of the video, here is Mortal Kombat 3, and we are using the SNES 9X emulator. Emulation here is flawless. I had some difficulties with the PS2 emulation, as you'll see later on, but for older titles, older retro games, this system is perfect for that use case. I only had issue with the default controls for the keyboard with Mortal Kombat 3, and as you can see, I'm not faring too well against Sindel here. But you know, we're spamming some low kicks, and that's the important part. But I'm getting my face smashed in. But that's the beauty of these old games. Now, Doom is another Super Nintendo game that ran flawlessly. I didn't expect it not to, though. I mean, even the original Doom, the PC version of Doom, will run pretty flawlessly on this system. But just to try it out with the SNES 9X emulator, it's running well, it's playing crisply, and if you want to play these old school games, you absolutely can without any hassle. Next up, some PS2 emulation using PC SX2. This is Burnout 3 Takedown, one of my favorite games of all time, and the experience here was woeful. There was nothing I could do to get the PAL version, which is the version I own, to run correctly or smoothly. I tried various tweaks using the PC SX2, the GPU limitation, unlocking cores, things like that, and nothing I did could get it to run smoothly. I got it to display 60 FPS eventually, but it was still choppy and running in slow motion like you can see here. I even tweaked the slow motion settings. Yeah, this wasn't a good time. Another of my favorite games of all time, Tony Hawk's Underground 2, worked much better than Burnout 3 Takedown. There was still a slight bit of, I want to say, choppiness or that slow motion effect, but I could have tweaked this a little further in the PC SX2 menus and got a better experience out of it. But I was pretty happy with how this one played, and it's definitely a testament to the fact that you can use these lower wattage parts, these lower wattage GPUs like a GT610, something that you could find on eBay for $5 or even get for free, and use it to emulate some of your favorite games from this era of gaming. If we want to see maximum potential out of our Q6600, we are going to have to replace the motherboard. I've got quite a few socket 775 motherboards here. Something that will allow me to overclock, because this motherboard will not allow me to overclock in the BIOS. Because I know you can get Q6600s way past 4 gigahertz. I mean, it's not ideal, but you can do it quite easily. If you want to pair something better than that with the Q6600, you could definitely do so. Like I've said before in previous videos, you could put a GTX 950 or a GTX 1050, pair that with it, and you've got like a really solid ultra low budget gaming system. I mean, the amazing thing and the most important thing about all of these components is that people will literally give these away to you. And I know that sounds like an indictment towards them, but it really isn't. Like DDR2 RAM, it's becoming more and more pricey as time goes on, but people still will give it away. These old motherboards, old graphics cards, all of these items, people are just going to give away now. And I collect this stuff simply because I want to keep it out of e-waste, and I have a lot of fun making these videos. Like little systems like this with, old Cooler Master cases, an old Zotac GT610, old motherboard, old monitor somebody wanted to throw away that I took off their hands, This is fun. And I know there are a lot of people here on YouTube that also love this stuff and are passionate about this stuff. So as we, work on these computers together, we've got to keep in mind that our hobby here is saving these components from e-waste, from landfill. And there are so many other people here on YouTube that enjoy older tech and are passionate about this older hardware. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got given that case fan for free as well. I took the blue LED case fan out of here and I put it in a different case. I think that's right there. But yeah, this is our hobby and I'm having a lot of fun making these videos. If you got to this point, let me know what you're working on in the comments below. Let me know what systems you're working on. Let me know what systems you would like to see covered on this channel. Can't wait to get into it with you guys. Anyways, my name is Matty Demise and I'll catch you guys later.